Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and honored guest. It's an honor to be here with you today. So I woke up this morning and I thought, what am I going to talk about? I've been gone for so long, I forgot the drill. And I said, well, I'm going to talk about something that I'm passionate about, something that I know, something that I believe in. I said, all right, I'll talk about policy and how policymakers make decisions based on economic analysis. That sounds pretty good. That's not what I'm going to talk about. Since we're having a good time, I'm going to talk about something that makes me happy, something light, something philosophical, but most importantly, something that brings a smile to my face. I love economics, I love politics, but they're not the drivers of my life. What drives my life is working with young people, working with young Africans, training them to be leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, I run a leadership academy in Kenya. And what I do is I travel the continent with my team to recruit young people, 16 to 18, to come to our leadership academy to train. We believe that the ones who have, we travel the continent to recruit young Africans who we believe have the vision to transform the continent. And we bring them to the academy and we nurture those ideas. So why do I do this? I do this because the problem in Africa is systemic. Therefore, we need a systemic solution. We need to get to the root of the problem, and the root of the problem is leadership. When you hear about Africa, it's poor. We all know what's going on in Egypt right now. Honestly, it's not moving me. It should have happened 20 years ago. Because the problem in Africa is not people, it's not money, it's not natural resources, it's leadership. The people on the top have no idea what's going on in the ground. They're so disconnected. I was reading an article the other day that Angelina Jolie and Madonna were going to the G8 summit to represent us, Africa. It was a little odd. It was a little odd. And I said, what do they know about foreign policies? What do they know about Africa? Where is the president of Kenya? Why aren't they going? And I said, all right, I guess if you go to a developing nation and you adopt a baby, you become a foreign policy specialist. If that is the case, Paul should also be invited to the G8 summit. But Paul is not a foreign policy expert, so is Angelina Jolie. But the difference between Paul and Angelina Jolie, Paul is an ordinary person doing extraordinary things. Angelina Jolie is a celebrity. She's promoting her agendas. Ladies and gentlemen, the celebrity culture is negative to African people. They have a platform and they use it negatively. Instead of sending a positive message, they focus on what's negative. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to illustrate with a video what is happening on the ground. Last year, I was fortunate enough to travel to 36 countries in Africa. There are 54 countries in Africa. And what I did is I interviewed young people. I asked them specific questions. Where do you see yourself in the world? Do you want to be on the right side of history or do you want to be on the wrong side of history? And they blew my mind. I was just thinking of something small, but after talking to these young people, I can't sleep. I'm staying up all night, writing grants, doing fundraising, making sure they get a chance. Therefore, I will illustrate my point with a video. All right, so out of the 36 countries, I'm going to show you 5. I went to Zimbabwe, I went to Senegal, I went to Morocco.
There's a button that's crossed out right there.
Oh, bring it back.
And throw at things, but I thought to myself, when I was 15 years old.
Anyway, so sorry about that. So I went to 5 countries. I went to Zimbabwe, I went to Morocco, Senegal, Sudan, my home country, Kenya, and Senegal. I think it's the one, or maybe wrong.
Old,
Look at this.
I noticed a girl in my community who was orphaned, and she had two little sisters, and her parents had died of HIV and AIDS. This girl always used to walk around and ask people for food and clothes and everything, and people would just pity her and throw her things. But I thought to myself, how long is this going to last? I mean, people in Zimbabwe are struggling financially. How long are people going to continue throwing things at her? I decided to help her, and in helping her, I decided to empower her by starting an agricultural project and also a chicken business. I really feel that this was a highlight of my life because I not only just helped this girl financially, but I also empowered her to take care of herself, and she managed to continue the agricultural project without me, and I really felt that, you know, that's what being a leader is all about. And so when I heard about African Leadership Academy, I was very thrilled, and I knew that this school had the exact things that I needed in order to fulfill and accomplish my dreams. I intend to use everything that I gained from the school, the knowledge about Africa, the leadership skills and the entrepreneurship skills, to found a hospital anywhere in Africa that focuses on research and treatment of HIV, AIDS, and cancer, because it's one of the diseases that hamper this continent's development.
My passion is in education, and that's the reason why I'm at ALA. I've been involved in Kenya over the past 3 or 4 years with an organization called the Kenya Children's Parliament Foundation. This is an organization that seeks to be the voice of the Kenyan child. I started a project last year called Project A Book for Change, which has a vision of providing better education to needy students. Through this project, we raised 3,000 textbooks that were given to around roughly 500 students from 6 schools in the forest areas in Nairobi. And I believe that I can bring change to Africa through education. I strongly believe that education is a catalyst for change.
When I went to the US, like a huge part of my life there was community service. The concept of community service is really huge there. So to see that we in Africa, we have this huge need and we don't have like that much, understanding of community service, I decided that that's what I want to do. I really want to learn how to make an impact in my own community.
As a Sudanese, I grew up in Kenya as a refugee. My family was exiled in Kenya due to the civil war that spanned over 2 decades in southern Sudan. Science has been one of my passions in life. I want to become one of the greatest scientists in the world and maybe be part of the team that will enable the world to discover the cure for HIV/AIDS.
I want to be an engineer in hydraulics because in my country I identified many issues about hydraulics, such as the problem of drinkable water that leads to disease as cholera.
6,000 leaders over the next 50 years will come out of this institute.
50 years from now, Africa will be developed because what we did in the African Leadership Academy. Therefore, when you leave this room today and you hear a lot of negative stories about Africa, remember, there's the positive side of Africa, and I'm proud to be an African. Thank you very much.